Imagine you're looking out of your window on a rainy day, and across the rooftops and the trees you can see a beautiful rainbow, brilliant colours, as the light pours through the rain. And you realise, of course, that this is daylight split into its 7 component parts by the sun shining through the water droplets. But you mightn't see it that way. You just see the beauty of the thing. But then it might occur to you, what lies beyond the red? And what lies beyond the violet? If this is daylight and these are the colours, is there anything higher than the violets? Any other colour? Or is there any other colour beyond the red? As far as we can see, there isn't. And yet our scientific instruments tell us that there are. There's infrared. We have infrared photography. We have ultraviolet light. We put on slips. We put in our sunscreen to protect ourselves from the ultraviolet light. So we know they are there. But as far as our senses go, we cannot see them. Take another example. If you get a guitar and you strum that guitar and you get a certain note, we'll say the note is C. And then you take that guitar string, shorten it exactly a half, and put it on a sounding drum again and play it, and you get another C note. But this one is an octave higher. Now, supposing you can half it again and do the same again, you get another C note an octave higher again, until eventually it goes outside of the hearing range. You can no longer hear it. As the instruments get smaller, eventually it gets to the stage it goes beyond the hearing range. And we might think, well, that's our reality. But it's not a dog's reality. A dog can hear higher sounds, sounds that we cannot hear. The point I'm making here is this. We have our 5 senses, and they all operate within certain vibrational ranges, a certain frequency spectrum. We cannot see infrared. We cannot see ultraviolet. We cannot hear the sound that dogs hear, the lower sounds. We cannot hear, but we can feel certain vibrations. The point is, again, our senses do not tell us much about what really exists. And if we keep an open mind on it, instead of saying it can't be real, then we get into all sorts of dimensions, not the least of which is what happens to us when we die. What happens to us when we die? Now, if you look on the internet and you look under NDE or near-death experiences, you will see not just dozens, but hundreds of cases where people have recorded that they've had an accident, they have died, that is, their hearts stopped beating, and their minds have stopped, everything, and they were pronounced dead, and then they were resuscitated and come back, and they tell us about a life which continued on. Now you might think, this doesn't sound right. How could this be right? The scientists tell us that this can't be right. But the ages, the wisdom which goes back millennia to the dawn of history and beyond, says that there is life after death. I know my wife has seen her mother after her mother died. She's also seen other people. She has the ability to be able to see, occasionally, the ghosts of people who have passed on. Lots of people can do this. Lots of people. But they keep it quiet because they worry about being ridiculed. The thing is, we have no idea, really, of how enormous, how endless, how infinite the dimensions that we inhabit are. We move around and we think we're here. How do we know that people aren't moving and things moving through us? We know that gamma rays go right through us. We don't feel them. We know that all sorts of radio waves can pass through us, television waves. We don't feel them, but they are there. We live in an endless universe, and our senses tap out such very, very narrow, almost infinitely small bands of the truth. So what are we? Are we the experiencer of just a small part of what is? I suspect that whilst we are in human form, that is exactly what we are.